Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nazmillah. I am from 4th C. I want to tell you my review novel. The title was Our Island by Randy Coburn. This is story of Pop. When Pop was child, she lived with her mother and her father in some island. Pop was very close to her mother. Every night, her mother always told Pops the story. Uh, Pop's mother, Pop's mother's name was Pril, and Pop's father's name was Jack. Pril always told to Pop how she could meet Pop's father, and then Pril uh, told about her hobbies to Pop. Pril said that her hobbies were listen to music, listen to radio, and writing a letter. Sometimes Pop followed with her mother. Pop liked to listen to the radio too. One day, Pop felt interesting with someone who was radio announcer because she had a good sound when he announced the poem and gave a music to the announcer, and then she had a good voice when he told about the news from the radio. Pop wrote a letter to him. A long time, Pop and the radio announcer just know with from letter until Pop knew about his name just from the letter. They never met, and uh, his name was Wit. When Pop was teenager, Pril was died, and Pop lived with her father's Jack. In the university, finally Pop met with and made a special relationship. Pop very easy to accept with as her boyfriend because they knew each other from the letter before. Witt was a film director too, and he wanted to make a film project with Pop. Pop very interesting and accepted to be an actress in with films project. In the studio, Pop met Mitchell. Mitchell was a sound director in the Witt's film. Not for a long time, Pop knew about Mitchell and they hang out together. In that moment, Pop still had a special relationship with but not for a long time. She had a special feeling too with Mitchell. Pop and Mitchell hang out together, and Pop made a decision to choose Mitchell than Witt for her husband. Pop was pregnant before she married with Mitchell. She chose Mitchell because Mitchell wanted to accept Pop and her pregnant. So Pop left with and moved to the our island, and she lived with Mitchell in the our island. Not for a long time. Pop had Lauren as her daughter, but Mitchell was died when Lauren was child. So Pop protect her daughter alone. One day, Pop went to the restaurant and order some food. Bob saw the woman, uh, her name was Jasmine, sat in front of her, and suddenly the man sat beside Jasmine. Uh, and Bob knew that the man was sweet. From that moment, Bob knew that Wit and Jasmine was married. Jasmine was a new neighborhood in our island. Uh, Bob was very disappointed and went out from the restaurant, and from that moment, she wanted to forget all about Wit uh, and uh, her feeling to Wit. In Bob's house, there was Lauren. Lauren had a special relationship with Cliff. Cliff was Lauren's friend in her college. For the first time, Bob said to Lauren that Cliff didn't had a special relationship with new people, but Bob didn't hear about that and still had a special feeling to Cliff. One day, Cliff came to Bob's uh, house and attended a small party in our island. And there was a big tragedy because Lauren fell into the sea, and Cliff tried to help Lauren because Lauren could not swim. Cliff tired to help Lauren because Cliff spent a long time in the sea, and after that, Cliff and Lauren unconscious. Bob was very panicked and brought them to the hospital. In the hospital, there was Wit. Wit heard about the tragedy and went to the Lauren's room. Uh, this is a second time Wit met Lauren. In the first time, Lauren met Wit in the street before Lauren went to the school. After a doctor went to Lauren's room, Lauren called Bob, and with very shocked because he didn't know that Bob was Lauren's mother. And after that, Bob went to another room with Wit and explained about Lauren. Bob said that Lauren was Wit's daughter. Wit didn't believe about that and did DNA test. After the result is out, the result said that Lauren was not Wit's daughter, but Lauren was Mitchell's daughter. From that moment, the problem was clear. Bob knew why Mitchell wanted to marry her when she was pregnant, because Mitchell was the real person who made Bob pregnant. And after that, Bob said sorry to Wit because Bob lived with when Wit still falling in love with Bob, and because for the first time Bob thought that Wit was the person who made Bob pregnant, and from this moment Bob was know the true fact that Mitchell was a real Lauren's father. And the end. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.